A casual joint became a daily ritual, and a decade disappeared while everyone else moved on. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Weed is a serious drug that can have devastating consequences for a life. That sentence may feel unpopular, even old-fashioned, yet it is grounded in reality for a surprising number of people. This story does not argue for prohibition. For most, weed is not problematic, or it brings only mild negatives. But for many, the risk is far more than they bargained for. About 20% of people who have ever tried weed develop cannabis use disorder. Some of them become severely addicted. That is a stunning share, and most who start do not know what they are stepping into. In the United States, daily or near-daily use has been climbing since long before legalization. There are now more daily users of weed than daily drinkers of alcohol. Most daily users consume very high amounts. In 2023, 1 in 15 adult Americans was suffering from some form of cannabis addiction. In England, cannabis is the top drug for which teenagers seek help. These are not abstract figures. They are lives in motion, or rather, lives on pause. This is not a conversation about medical use or casual users or people with mild problems. This is a frank look at serious addiction and those in danger of sliding into it without noticing. It is a story grounded in research and in lived experience from someone who used weed every day for 15 years before quitting. It is a story about how a habit becomes a trap, especially in the years when life should be taking off. Most people do not plan to get addicted. They slip into it slowly. It begins with curiosity, a desire to relax, to unwind, to laugh with friends. Weed can make music feel electric. Movies sparkle. Food becomes a little feast. There is warmth in the ritual and comfort in the haze. Then the ritual repeats. The days begin to tilt in its favor. Frequency is the first red flag. Daily or almost daily use is a clear sign of developing trouble. For a daily user, the risk of cannabis use disorder can be as high as 30%. That is not a remote possibility. It is a real risk that may take years to reveal its full weight. What began as an occasional high is normalized, scheduled, expected. Weekends are planned around it. Activities shift to those that fit well when stoned. Other hobbies and obligations drift to the edges. It creeps into weekdays, then into every day. At some point, it becomes the way of being. Over time, the nature of the drug changes. The joy fades. A comfortable numbness settles in. Weed becomes the primary method of coping with life. It does not make anyone stronger or more resilient. It covers pain, anger, and fear. It builds a shell. It makes retreat feel safe. It makes escape feel normal. There is a simple test. Stop for 4 weeks. Start today. Not tomorrow. Today. No matter what you have planned. If that feels challenging, if it feels impossible, that is a message worth hearing. If you cannot make it, that should give you food for thought. Once weed becomes a daily habit, the damage is cumulative. It spreads across time, slowly enough that it can be missed in the moment. The years that should feel full begin to feel like reruns. The danger is not only in the chemical dependence, it is in the life that quietly erodes around it. In the 20s, youth can mask stagnation. Life changes on its own. School, work, new cities, new friends, new routines. There is energy in the environment. It is easier to drift and still feel like progress is happening. The body is at its peak. There are late nights, travel, dating, adventure. This is the easiest time to build a healthy social life, the strongest predictor of long-term happiness. It is a window that does not stay open. Spend this time stoned, scrolling, watching, and the regret may arrive later. This period does not come back. As the 30s approach, the tide turns. Most people tone down their consumption or quit. Life demands a different kind of attention. It becomes an inflection point. Those who are still in the ritual risk being left behind by those who have moved forward. Friendships need care, attention, and time. Weed addiction cuts against that. For some, especially as use increases, social anxiety worsens. Events look daunting. It feels easier to stay home. Feelings of guilt or fear of missing out get muffled. There will be a next time, it tells you. But the next time does not always come. And slowly, a reliable friend becomes a flaky friend, then a missing friend. When weed is used alone, it can become the focal point of a life. Many people with addictions decrease the activities they once enjoyed. They shrink their worlds. They see fewer people. They participate less. In the 30s, that shrinkage becomes acute. Careers, partners, families, and tightly guarded free time change the social landscape. Casual hangs give way to calendars. When time's precious, the priority list tightens. Smoking a joint drops down that list. Without a rupture or a fight, friendships can become incompatible. One person builds a life. The other maintains a ritual. It is common for problematic users to cluster around others who use. That can create a trap. If friends quit or withdraw into solitary use, isolation arrives. If the circle expects continued use, the pressure to keep going grows. It is harder to forge new friendships in the 30s than in the 20s. It takes courage, energy, and motivation. Addiction drains all three. Loneliness grows and many cope by using more. That loop feeds itself. Weed fills the role of a best friend. It is always there. It makes the moment feel okay. Love does not escape unscathed. Social anxiety and complacency delay dating in the 20s. In the 30s, the hurdle rises. In relationships, addiction can be disruptive. Partners of daily users often feel neglected. Communication falters. Trust erodes. The addicted partner may not see the damage. They are often blindsided when love leaves. With age, people seek partners who will share responsibilities and build a life. Addiction becomes a heavier weight, and it becomes less attractive with each passing year. There is also the cost to achievement. Long-term studies show that heavy weed users are more likely to end up with reduced academic performance, worse education, lower income, less savings, and less stable employment. This is true even when compared to people from similar family backgrounds. Many struggle to show up consistently. Productivity dips. Procrastination grows. Responsibilities are missed. The consequences accumulate in small decisions and missed opportunities. Perhaps the networking event did not happen. The chance to step up was declined. Promotions passed by. Jobs shifted sideways. Savings did not grow, as the habit itself cost thousands each year. In the 20s, a person transitions from not yet skilled to becoming capable. In the 30s, expectations rise sharply. Others offer less slack. Self-comparison becomes painful. It is not only career milestones that fall behind, it is the breadth of life. With a decade or two spent in a haze, there are fewer trips, fewer new faces, fewer stories. In short, less life lived. Studies of long-term chronic users show significantly lower life satisfaction. That spans motivation, the pursuit of goals, social and love life, careers and options. Fun and fulfillment shrink. The day-to-day feels flatter. The spark dims. Then there's mental health. At first, weed can feel like a solution. It calms anxiety. It blunts depressive feelings. It softens loneliness. That is because it acts on the brain's reward system. Over time, those effects can flip. Emotional regulation degrades. Anxiety and depression worsen. Serious mental disorders can be triggered or amplified. The response is often more of the same. More use in search of relief. Coping skills atrophy. Stress becomes harder to handle. Mood grows unstable. Irritability spikes. There is a dam of bottled feelings, ready to crash without warning. In a mental health crisis, weed can make the storm worse. Yet there is hope. Research shows that people who give up weed after addiction often experience noticeable improvements in mental health. This is not a warning for a far-off future. The negatives are happening today. The sense of time slipping, the shrinking social circle, the stalled goals, the quiet erosion of joy. If you find yourself addicted or in danger of becoming addicted, there is a way out. It will not be fun. It will be difficult. You need to quit. The earlier you do, the better your life will be. Do not give up. There is a whole life out there, waiting. Start with the simple test. 4 weeks. Today. As the days stack up, track them. Sometimes, seeing progress makes all the difference. A simple calendar can become a record of choices made, of people seen, of goals reached. Each small win becomes a step back into a life that feels like yours. This is not a moral tale. It is a reality check. Weed can be harmless for many. It can be devastating for many others. Know the risk. Respect the drug. Watch the frequency. If you are already caught, take the first step now. Because while a casual joint can become a daily ritual, the decades ahead do not have to disappear. They can be filled, not erased.